The day I lost him. My father was my best friend. We did everything together. From cooking, playing with my toys, fixing his race car, painting his race car for Saturday night. Then, one day, my mother told me that I had to live with her because my father wasn't well. Those words hurt me, but what I didn't know was that it was going to change my life forever. With everything going on, I needed someone to talk to. Someone to let all my emotions go. Someone where I can say anything and everything. So I went to Mr. Fritz, where I thought everything that I said was between me and him. But soon I realized that it wasn't. Talking to Mr. Fritz for a couple months now, I gained a lot of trust for him. Then one day I came in and he told me that, "I'm sorry, but due to our last meeting and the things you had said, I legally have to call social services. And I will be contacting your mother about the stuff you have told me about your father, and the regulations have to follow along with it." I felt betrayed. All my trust that I gained for him was just flushed down the drain. I didn't understand what I did wrong or what I said wrong, so I just walked out. A week had gone by and my name came on the intercom to go to the office. I was nervous. I hadn't done anything bad. I walked in and a social service lady comes out of the back. She asked me who I was and I respond, and she says, "I'm the girl she needs." She began leading me back to the conference room. When we had arrived, she began asking me questions about what it's like over at my father's. I didn't trust her, but I knew I had to tell her the truth. I noticed she was recording. It made me nervous, but time had passed and she knew everything. When we had finished, she told me, "Bye, have a nice day, I'll most likely see you later." I didn't understand why she said that until I arrived home. I walked through the door and I heard an unfamiliar voice, and it was hers. She had the biggest smile on her face, like she was having the time of her life and everything was perfect. I despised her. My mother then asked me to go to my room, so I did. But I sat at the door listening. She had told my mother to get full custody of me until my father was better, and my mom did so. My mother had sleepless nights trying to get all the paperwork done. The day was coming, the day they decided who ended up with custody over me. I was scared. Was my dad even going to show? What if my dad won? Did I get to decide who wanted to be with? Next thing I knew, the day was here. I couldn't focus at school. All those questions were going through my mind. My mom came to pick me up. We went straight to the court. We had been waiting for hours. The nerves in my body were all tingling. I was scared, but my father never showed. My mother ended up with custody. On the car ride home, I asked her, "Why didn't he show, Mom? Am I, his only daughter, not good enough for him to love?" It's not that I didn't want to be with my mom. I was just hurt he never showed to fight for me. Finally, she answered, "It's not that he doesn't love you. Just right now he has other priorities that he wants to escape reality." I wasn't the person I knew him as anymore. His habits were worse, and due to what I had said about him, the police were watching him. My father sold drugs to a girl who was suicidal. She had used many drugs that night and died. Her family wanted to blame someone for the killing. And of course, the last drug in her system was the drug my dad sold her. My father went to jail for his actions. My mother wouldn't let me see him. She said she was protecting me from what was going on, but protecting me from what? My father had already been taken away. What more could there be? My father went to prison for about a year, but was bailed out. I had my father back, and I was living with him. I had a burst of happiness. My smile went to my ears. But a year later, I identified my mom's car waiting for me at the bus stop. I ran to the car, hoping to see both my parents, but my father wasn't there. I broke out into tears. My mother tells me he pled guilty, so he would only be there for 2 years instead of 15. My father had left again, and my heart was broken. But before I knew it, the 2 years were up, and I'm going to pick him up from prison. I was so overcome with joy that nothing else has ever seemed to compare to that moment. I was finally able to speak to my father whenever I wanted, and could give him a big bear hug whenever I wanted. My father is now sober and has a great job doing what he loves, working on cars. I see my father every night, and every night I hug him and I tell him I love him, because you never know what could happen to the people you love the most.